Hey everybody. So it's been a while since I've done one of these. I believe I'm on live chat. Yep, everything's live. So I have been playing with AI for a couple years now, I guess. It's crazy to say that, but yeah. And I keep on trying new tools. And one of the things I've been playing with recently is Tempo Labs. Pretty impressed so far of what it can do and how it can work. But it also runs into the same problems I've run into pretty much every one of the AI coding tools. So, and let me give you a list. There's Claude Code, there's ChatGPT, there is Base 44, Replit, Bolt, Lovable, which was originally when I was using it was GPT Engineer. Uh, I'm trying to think of some other ones that. Oh, Augment Code, Copilot, of course, and now Tempo Labs. And like other tools are actually starting to incorporate AI into their own tools. A great example is Figma. Figma has actually done it very well. They actually are the only MCP server that I've seen that actually works and you can integrate. It's really annoying that everyone's like, oh, I have an MCP server. Okay. To do what? And no one knows. Like, there is a tweet I saw recently that there are more developers working on MCP servers than using MCP servers. Because all it is a protocol to pass data around. And then the big question is like, well, if it's an MCP server, what's the difference between that and an API? And there actually are some significant differences because it can actually translate the request from human language into an API call, right? And that's one of the big ones is that the protocol will then allow you to operate their tool successfully without actually knowing how to integrate with their tool. You still have to authenticate to their server, and actually that's one of the problems with a lot of the MCP servers that people are creating is they don't worry about the authentication layer. So then it allows them to do whatever they want at any time without any security. Yet another problem. All right, let's talk about Tempo. So Tempo Labs, I'm going to pull this up, is this. Um, it's pretty cool, not going to lie. Build React apps 10 times faster with AI. And you can actually design things, and I'm going to show you all of it. And oh, it was on Product Hunt. Yeah, good for them. Yeah, if you don't have the Product Hunt tab, like Chrome tab set up, and I'll show you. Well, no, I won't. You can install it. It's great. If you open a new tab, you'll see all of this stuff, right? And this is what the tab actually looks like. It's pretty cool. Um, but back to Tempo. It allows you to do all of these wonderful things. Push to get a blah blah blah. Plans and pricing. Recommend paying for this because 30 prompts and 5 per day is really not a lot. It's enough to see what it can do, but you'll never get to the level that you want to do. Um, One of the things that actually is allegedly good at, I haven't done it yet, is it's actually good at creating React Native. So that means you can actually push directly to the App Store or Google Play after you build it. Don't start from scratch. You can bring your existing code base. Yes, you can actually connect an existing one. What will you build? Yeah, React component. Let's see what it's got. Yeah, so these are the tools that it has. Like these are some of the components it has, but it actually, this is very, very limited. Uh, but yeah, it's built with Tailwind and React, so kudos to them. So let me show you. So I was playing with with this. And if I go, I don't know if I can go all the way back, but the thing I really like about it is it actually, whoops, how do I do this? No, that's not doing it. Let's do this, and then, yeah, there we go. So it actually created this entire workflow for me, different dashboards, all of that. So this is the actual workflow as part of, it's just a mermaid diagram. You can see that up here, but it's pretty extensive, and it actually did a really good job of it. And then the next part that's really fun is if you come over to the design section, you can actually see what it's designed. Welcome back, a reset password, a login, account settings, a dashboard, a messaging system. Actually, the messaging system is way better than this, but and workout plan creator, et cetera, et cetera. And then it actually takes you all the way to the code, and you can actually run, and I'll show you. I'll open this in a new tab, and here it is. And this, it actually built all of this for me. The subscribe now, which is actually really interesting. You got to sign in to subscribe, and it's free. It's kind of funny. But yeah, let me do one thing real quick. I'm going to sign in with Google. I'm going to sign in with this account. And signing you in. Let's see what it does. So now it's signing me in. Welcome, John, right? And this is some made up account, but workout schedule messages, so I can actually talk to them. How's the workout going? Active programs. I can create a workout, break it all down. But it actually did a really good job, and it even has the whole settings of like security, notifications, subscriptions. So here's the subscriptions. If I upgrade to monthly, because I'm a trainer, this was the part that was really challenging. Because in this example locally, I'm a trainer, but it actually even set up Stripe and had all of this configuration. And if I do this, it will actually go to a Stripe account. It's pretty nice. Yeah, I was pretty surprised about that. And it even has the back button, which will take me back here. I gotta work on keeping, if you're signed in, it should change that to dashboard. So that's one of the things I'm working on. But it's pretty straightforward. Actually, you know what? Let's do that right now. So I will go back. I know that's really hard to read, but I'm going to go back to the PRD, and I'm going to bring this over. I don't think I can. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right. So now I can interact with it, and I use AI to interact with it. Here's what, before I go any further, here was the big problem, and I'm just going to get off this for a second. It did really well to get started, and it got me set up. It actually configured the dashboards, and it did authentication. What didn't it do? The authentication did not do what I wanted it to do, and it connected to, I think it was Supabase for the authentication. But the thing it didn't do well was identify, oh, if you're a trainer, you should actually have a subscription tab. If you're a client, you shouldn't be able to sign up unless you have a trainer, right? You don't want clients to sign up just randomly because they can't really do much. They can only monitor their progress. And the trainer does all the work in regards to the application. And then the client just logs in and sees their progress, which kind of is the goal. And from a business standpoint, you don't want to charge the client to use a tool. That just doesn't make any sense. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay. So you don't want to charge um, the client for that, but it should always have like the trainer needs to invite a client. And then if the trainer invites the client, then the client will get the invite and then sign up and they'll be able to track their own progress. So it did not do well at that uh, one to many relationship or many to one relationship in that case, because the trainer can have many clients, but the client should only have one trainer. Uh, some of that basic database functionality is important. It didn't set up row level security on the database initially. I had to set up all those policies myself. But here's what was really cool. So I connected it to Git, was able to get all that code up there and be able to publish directly from there to Vercel. So it actually does do a great publishing. So let me show you that. If I come here and I think it's share, yeah. If I redeploy it, it will actually work, which is really cool. But I've already deployed it, so now whenever I do a push, let me see. Is it here? No. Here. If I push here and Git, it will automatically update the site on Vercel because I have a hook with Vercel to my GitHub repo. Really, really cool. Simple operations, but those are the details that really matter when you're building something because you don't just want it, you want to actually have it be useful. Like, hey, I've created this amazing application on my local host. No one cares. And that's really important. So as I went through this process and I fixed the authentication and I fixed the login and I started playing more with it, I took the code because I tried multiple times using Tempo to actually fix that database relationship. Took the code, pulled it down locally, set up all my environment variables, and there's a lot of them. And then got it running locally and then used Claude Code to actually fix it. So with Claude Code, I asked the same kind of questions I was asking Tempo, and Tempo couldn't do it, and Claude Code could. And that's one of the things that I've learned playing with AI is everyone's like, oh, GPT is going to be the end all be all, and there is no end all be all. I use GPT for some information and deep research stuff. I'll use Claude for some code. I'll use Tempo for design. I'll use Tempo for code. Then I'll take the Tempo code and actually have Claude Code review it. And then I'll take the Claude code and have GPT review it. And then every once in a while, I will actually have Grok generate images that I want to use for logos or things like that. So all of that combined is my actual team of agents. Now, I don't like using that term agent because that's not what I'm doing. The tools that I'm using are just standalone tools. Do they take some autonomous actions? Sure. Can I give it a PRD and then come back the next day and have everything tested, working without any additional prompts? No. And that's one of the things that AI needs to start getting better at. It's really good for what it's trained on. And that's the part that no one realizes. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I was able to do ... in like 3 hours, whatever it is. Like I created my website in 3 hours. Great. And then they want the change. And this is actually the part that I've been dying to talk about is, yeah, AI will get you 90% there. And it's amazing and it is great. And then that last 10%, you're like, oh, I wish uh, it would actually, I'll use my example. I wish it understood that a trainer can have multiple clients, but a client should only have one trainer, and a client shouldn't be able to sign up without a trainer. And it didn't understand that process. And it took, I don't know, most of Sunday to figure that out. And when that happened, I was like, all right, let's see if Claude Code can do a better job. And the answer is Claude Code can. Um, in this example, but it doesn't. I had to write code. I still had to, I mean, Claude Code got me even closer, but I had to set up my Supabase instance. I had to actually set up my row level security. I had to set up my policies and run all of those SQL scripts that I had to write. Uh, I also had to configure my Google Cloud Console to make sure that the OAuth screen was set up. And those are the details that no one wants to talk about. Everyone wants to say, wow, I have a tool that's amazing. I was like, cool. How do you log in? Oh, we don't have login. I was like, oh, well, so anyone can use it at any time, at all time? Oh, yeah, I never thought of that. Right. Those are the things like that's the first question I always ask is like, how do you log in? How do I create an account? How do I reset my password? Like that that should be pretty simple and pretty like as they say table stakes. I hate that phrase, but that's kind of like the that is your MVP. If you can't create an account, you can't log in and you can't reset your password, then you're going to be handling support calls forever. And that's important. And you need some level of authentication if you're ever going to build a regular application. Um, if you're building marketing sites or just like a personal blog, but even with a personal blog, uh, you're going to probably want some level of authentication because you're going to need a content management system behind it. Unless you're doing it all locally and the only thing you're uploading is the generated content from your blog, which by the way, Next.js, shout out, does it really, really well if you just want to use Markdown and then generate an entire website. And then you just write in Markdown locally, you generate it, and you push a static site. GitHub Pages, you can actually do that pretty quickly too. But with AI, you can actually do whatever you need to do. But you got to understand the details. And it's so fascinating to me of all these people that are creating these wonderful tools and they're like all these POCs and all of these amazing solutions. And then they're like, oh, I wish it did ... And that is what's going to probably be happening in the next, I would say 6 months. Is I know we've all seen layoffs from like Microsoft and Google actually is shutting divisions. And I'm trying to think what was the other one that was really, really big. I don't remember. But we all know that the market was like, well, was, I would say was, because it's actually starting to change. Is everyone's using AI, so we don't need all of these engineers. And then they have these non-technical people using AI to build these amazing POCs. And then they're like, how do we get it to our cloud server? Or how do we host it live? Or how do we add authentication to it? Or how do we pass our SOC 2 compliance with the code I just wrote that I don't even know what it does? Yeah, though that, and what's going to happen is they're going to hit a roadblock that they will not be able to solve with AI at that time. Will AI be able to help with it? Sure. But you got to get really specific with your prompting. And I'm so specific with my prompting now that I'm almost writing the code in the prompt. And I was like, here's an example. Here's what I want the code. Here are the classes I want. Here is the schema of the API that I want. Here's the documentation that I've created that you can use now. And I give it all of this context, and then it does a pretty good job of it. But before that, it did not do a good job. I would actually just ask it. I was like, hey, I want to create, I don't know, a dog identification system. In case you didn't know, I'm a big dog fan. There's one of them. And it would get there and it would do pretty well. Now I'm kind of thinking, you know what? Let's build a dog identification system. Now, what does that mean? Maybe it's like a dog. Let's think this out together. So, let's say I want to create a here. I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to come here. I am going. I know you can't see it yet. I'll get you there. Hold on. Close that. All right. We're going to just do it live. Ain't nothing like live coding, right? So you're going to actually have the same experience of what I did. So let's do it. But in this case, I don't need authentication because what I'm going to do is basically create an open website that will be for people to, like a dog dictionary of all the different breeds, like something from the AKC or something like that, or Westminster. All right. So let's see if I can zoom this in. 150. That's good enough. You can see that, yeah? All right, great. Is anyone here? Concurrent viewers. Somebody's here. Let me know if you can't see this and I'll fix it, but let's just start here. So I click on generate an app, onboarding page for EdTech. This is just an example it had. Vite, Next.js, Expo, AuthDB. See, here's the auth, payments, Stripe, Polar, I don't know what. So I'm going to say no payment. I don't need auth. I'm fine with Vite. Great. So now, hold on, let's see what just happened. Oh, I'm good. Okay. So, create a website that displays information of all dog breeds with pictures, temperament, temperament. I guess I can't spell temperament. Temperament? Okay. With pictures, temperament, and helpful games to educate people on the different dog breeds. It should be fun and playful and have pictures of each dog and their breed information. Cool. Let's just start there. So now is it going to be creating a PRD? Dog Breeds Encyclopedia, great. An interactive dog breed encyclopedia showcases comprehensive information about various dog breeds and playful and engaging interface. Yeah, and now it's gonna generate the mermaid design, and now it's actually analyzing code base and implement. Yep. So it's using Tailwind, it's using TypeScript, React Router for navigation. And let's, while this is building this out, let's see what the PRD says. Doesn't say a whole lot, does it? That's funny. Let's see, include search and filter to find breeds by characteristic, size, temperament, energy level. That's great. Use a bright, playful color scheme with paw print icons and playful typography to create a fun atmosphere. Exactly. So this created all, I mean, we're doing this real time right now. This is welcome to live coding. Live coding for AI. Let's see something. Yeah, it takes a little bit to actually do anything. Oh, there, it actually did it. Great. All right. How's it going? It's still querying building things. So I mean, after I go through this, we're going to go through this live right now. But what I can do later is I will edit this and shorten some of the sequences because nobody likes watching AI try and think. And is it really thinking? No. It's actually building stuff based off of what it was trained on, and that's the part that no one understands. But yeah, starter. This is how it started. It used template. It's creating a quiz game. Now it's creating the main application component that brings everything together. Yeah, well, we're gonna see some of the problems that it'll encounter. There we go. Let's see. Generated mermaid diagram. So let's look at the mermaid diagram while it's building the rest of it. So user enters dog breed encyclopedia, views grid card layout. Click on breed card, it'll show the detail, images, temperament, information, lifespan, origin. Enter search terms, will display search results, which will take back to the user action. Filter criteria, filter by size, temperament, energy level, and then display filter results. Play interactive game, select game type, shows the random breed image, user selects breed name, correct, success. Yeah, that sounds fun. And match the temperament, show the temperament traits, match the user traits. I don't know how good this is going to be because there are some really nice dogs that allegedly have bad temperaments. So look at this. This is, and keep in mind what you're seeing right here is the design. This is not the code. And that's really important because I can, for those of you familiar with Figma, you can actually connect this directly to Figma and it will allow you to do those kind of edits. But you can see these dogs and let me zoom in. There you go. Whoa. Whoa, didn't want to do that. That looks good. But yeah. Why is this not? Yeah. So let's see what here's the layers. Symbol, browser router, app, unknown, routes, let's close that. Let's go back here, design. And now I want to be able, like, I don't even know how to unselect it. You think it would be, maybe I could just refresh. No. Interactive mode. Oh, there we go. So yeah, wow, it actually, whoops. That's interesting. So that zooms that moves that. Is it this? No, this? Yeah, that. There we go. So you can see it's got hover states. It created that. There's even highlights when you hover over it. I'm not sure why they have a picture of this guy for a beagle. And what's the difference between a bulldog and a French bulldog? And I think there are differences. But we'll see what it does. But let's get back to the AI. So I come back here, generate represent, show the user flow. So run the terminal command, restart dev server. So it looks like it did it. And let's see if it actually did it. If you want to see the code and you're over here, you can actually, I think it's right here. Yeah, you can see all the code. And this is the get. You can connect it to a repository. These are the changes. Those are the assets. This is the code. So if I click on one of these, I'll click on the component. There's your component. That's where it's coming from. But if you go into the source, you can go into here. I'll show you the app. Should have something under. Those are the stories, components, a breed card. So it actually created a breed card, and it's using TypeScript. Yay! But yeah, it generated all this for me. But the question is, does it work? Because no one cares about anything. They don't care how it was built. They don't care anything except if it works. So let's see. Well, here you go. Obviously, those are not golden retrievers. Those are corgis. So you got to update the pictures. Let's see what else it shows. Yeah, that looked like a husky. So the pictures aren't right. Let's see if the information. Germany, lifespan 913, 1590. Yeah, that seems good. High grooming. Yeah. If you've ever had a German Shepherd, grooming is high. Yeah, they shed. Grooming medium. Let's see what else they got. Oh, I want more dogs than this. Here. Irish Wolfhound. No, it doesn't have it. So it only showing all 8 breeds. There's only 8 breeds of dogs. So there's a great example. How do I add additional breeds? And what I can do is go into AKC dog breeds. So let's come here, and I will come back to here and say, can you add all the dog breeds that are listed on the AKC page here? Yeah, with all the majors. So if you've ever watched the Westminster Dog Show, which happens every year after the Thanksgiving Day parade, they have groups of like the working group, the herding group, the toy group. I'm trying to think of, I don't know all the different all the different groups, but then each one of those groups has a certain number of breeds that are in that group. But these are just regular dog breeds. Like this dog back here, who's sleeping. I don't know if you can see him, but he is what they call a super mutt. We've adopted 2 different dogs, and they're mixes. They're not purebreds. I'm a big fan of adoption of dogs. Adopt, don't shop kind of concept. And we actually got DNA done on him, and it was like a mixture of like 7 different breeds and then like 30% super mutt, just because he's a mixture of everything. He also is really old, and he's now 16 years old and doing great. But that, um, like, would he fit in one of these breeds? I don't know. He'd fit in probably about 15 of them. Um, there we go. It looks like it added some additional ones. Now it's actually saying 30 breeds, which is a little better. Let's see. Showing all 30 breeds. Not sure why he's a Cocker Spaniel or a boxer. Not a. It's not a Border Collie, just for the record. Um, Probably Siberian Husky. Obviously, these pictures are just placeholders. Jack Russell, Scottish, Chihuahua. He's a Chihuahua too. Bull Terrier, etc., etc. But now, great. I have all of this. How do I update? And let me close that and load more. Yeah, like it didn't even. Now I gotta find. Hold on, I gotta search. Where's my Irish Wolfhound photos? Yeah, love these dogs. That's what she looks like. Anyway, but as you can see, it has all these pictures, and the problem with this is, great, I want to actually update these things. Sorry, I'm coding live and big dog fan, so I get distracted by dogs. And it added 30, 8 to 30 comprehensive recognized breeds. Oh yeah, here are the groups: sporting group, working group, herding group, hound group, terrier group, toy group, non-sporting group. Which is great. That's not great. But let's see. Do they even have what the group is? They don't. Browse breeds, play games. Let's start the quiz. It's a poodle. Oh, question. Golden retriever. Okay, now I want to get one wrong. Oh, great. I got. Wow, I was guessing blindly and was actually correct. That's a Rottweiler. So out of these, it would probably fall under the Bull Terrier. And now it's a French Bulldog. And now, yeah, he is not a Yorkshire Terrier. And now, yeah. And we'll do Basset Hound. 7 out of 10 with incorrect pictures. But yeah, and it created a fun game, and you can match the temperament. But like, you see how this G is, why is that getting cut off? And this is a great example. So how do I get back to the original page? Oh, browse breeds. Okay, that's it. Play games, browse breeds. Okay, that's great. But why is that G getting cut off? Why do I not see it? And if I inspect this, you can see that it is styles. It's not that. Let's see what it's actually doing. Oh, the line height. Yeah, line height. Let's just make that line height a little bit bigger. There we go. And now I fixed it. 3, 4. Yeah, let's just do it 1.5. So now it actually will, all the drops will actually show up. But why didn't AI catch that, right? Why did it realize the font it was using is going to have drop downs? Because it's only trained on what it's trained on, and those are the problems that you're going to run into, and those are the things that you're going to need to actually understand how to actually fix this. Because now, even though I fixed it in Chrome, it doesn't actually go all the way back to the code. However, Chrome does have a new feature where you can actually connect it directly to your VS Code, make your changes here, and it will actually update it all the way back to your code. So kudos to Google for doing that. But in this example, I need to, here, let's just try and talk it through. On the home page, the G in the title of dog is being cut off. Can you fix that? And I'll even include, let me refresh this so it breaks, a picture. And what's cool about this is I can paste it and it'll ask me, do you want it to add it to the code base or you want to add it for context? And I want to add it for context. And now let's see if it fixes it. And what's cool about this is we can actually, well, see, now it fixed it because I resized it. And I want to see this one. Yeah. Man, it's still cut off. Now it says it fixed it. I'm going to refresh it. I'm even going to close this so there's no question. And I'm going to expand this. And you're going to see right now, the title is using BG clip text transparent, which can cause text clipping issues. Okay. I've fixed the title display by adding leading tight, ensure proper line height to prevent text clipping. Pixel 2 to add horizontal padding to give the text more breathing room. Flex wrap, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's even assume that it didn't. So maybe I need to restart the server. So let's even go down that path. So I'll come into code. I'm in full screen. I'm going to refresh it just to be safe. Make sure there's no caching issues. And no. So now I did it in 5 seconds, right? I literally changed the line height to 1.5 and everything was fine. But not working. So let's click on here, and right down here I can click on restart and it'll actually restart the server. And you can see it definitely restarted the server. And you can see that refresh, that little flash, it refreshed it. It's still not fixed. So let's give it a screenshot again. And upload for context. And go, nope. The G is still getting cut off. See the attached image. And let's see what it says. Is indeed being cut off. Yeah, it is. Let me fix this by removing the gradient text effect using a solid color instead, which will prevent the clipping issue. So now it did fix it. But what did it actually do? It changed the font color to actually make it work. Is that the right answer? I would say no. So I don't want to change the color. I just wanted the G to change. So great. Can you make it work without changing the gradient? I like that effect. I like that effect. Oh my God. Descenders. That's, yeah, still cutting it off. And you can see the slight gradient, right? It's lighter over here and darker over here, which is cool. But let's tell it. Upload for context. It is better, but still you can see it getting cut at the bottom of the G. Yeah. See, now that's right. And it took me 3 attempts for it to realize it just needed to add padding to the bottom. That's it. And those are the details that you're going to want engineers to actually solve, because as you just witnessed, AI can't do it. It removed, like, to solve the problem, it removed the gradient color. Not the right solution. The problem was the G is being cut off. So you need to understand what the actual problem is, be able to explain it, and if you understand what the actual problem is, solve only that problem. Don't create 3 other problems. Because if I were to show a designer, I was like, yeah, I didn't like your orange, so I changed to this to make the descender work, they would yell at me. It's just silly. Anyway, this is just an example of some of the things you can do. And this is with Tempo Labs, and it's not bad. I'll don't get me wrong for slamming it. It's actually a pretty good product. And I can click on this. I obviously can't click on the heart because there's no functionality that actually will tie it to anything. But it created the heart, like I can favorite it, but I can't. And these are all have hover states that do what? And obviously the images are incorrect. I think some of this information is correct. I don't. Here, I know Siberian Huskies. 12-14, that's fair. I know boxers. Okay, so yeah, boxers are great. But I would bring up like health issues. One of the problems is they have hip dysplasia. Like maybe that's something you should bring up. Mastiff, Bernese, Poodle, Terrier. Anyway, but are these details? That's the other thing, that the hallucination effect. So I'm going to stop it a bit, but the hallucination effect of when you generate code, especially if you're generating code for informational purposes, you're going to be in a horrible state, because it will actually generate information for you. It will be incorrect, but it will be information. And here's, everyone's like, why is this not even close to what I want? It's because a lot of the data that's being used to train these are what we call synthetic data. And that data is based off of a schema. It will generate like terabytes of data that is not real data, but it is what they call synthetic data. And that synthetic data will actually inform the LLM of what success is. But it's not success. It's actually horrible. Because now it's giving you false information because it was trained on not real data, and it's going to return not real data because the amount of data that it's being generated is from synthetic data. That's why everyone's like, well, what's your data sources? No one ever gives out their data sources for whatever reason. It's because that's like the golden egg of LLMs now, of like, what data did you train it on? Well, and the other concern is people don't want to share where they're getting the data from because they're using things they shouldn't be using. Excuse me. And I think that's really important that they don't do that. Hold on one sec. But the data that they get is from everywhere, right? And you don't know where their data is coming from. You don't know if it's synthetic data or not. And you get false results. And everyone's like, I'm getting so many hallucinations, especially when you're talking about like image generation and people wanting to create things like that. And that data needs to be like, that's why they have things called LoRa models. And you will fine tune an existing model based off of more accurate data to get more accurate results. And that's what needs to start happening. But I see with all of these AI tools that are coming out, and everyone's like, we're AI, blah, blah, blah. And that's great. But why? Right? Let's figure out why you're AI, whatever, right? And what problem is AI actually solving for you? What is it automating for you? Is it even automating? Do you just have 30 people typing in different prompts that whoever wins is the new head engineer? And it's just crazy to actually think of all of that and all that kind of insanity of the hallucinations that you're continuing to see. That's what you need to figure out. And those hallucinations are like nuts, especially when you start dealing with metrics that matter. Um, and let me go into a little bit more about the metrics that matter. The main metrics that matter, like, what if somebody was misdiagnosed with a disease? That would be very, very bad. But that hallucination could happen. And that's very concerning. What if it messed up a decimal point and it was $1,000 rather than $10,000, or $100,000 instead of $1,000,000? Like, and it moved the decimal point one. It's not that big of a deal. If you're dealing with money and you're dealing with health, um, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. And those kind of details, you can't have 90% accuracy. Uh, if you tell the IRS that I'm 90% accurate, I paid my taxes this year, they would have a wonderful time investigating of that 10% discrepancy that may or may not happen. Like, you need 100% accuracy. There is no in between. When you're dealing with people's lives, you have to have 100% accuracy. And that's why everyone's having this big debate about AI and cars. And, well, if a car actually kills someone to save the passengers, is that okay? And that's an ethical question at that point, right? And that's a whole different discussion. And you can talk about that for days of, what is the intent of the AI of the car? Is it to protect the passengers, or is it to protect all people? And then what if there's an option that it has to make a decision in a split second of who it's going to save? And there are cases where accidents happen. And that there is a big, I'm going to talk about this because, well, why not? There's a big debate about this recently, is if automated cars reduce the number of car crashes in, I'll just use the US, in the US to let's say there's, I don't even know. I can actually look it up. Let's see. How many car crashes in the US per year? Oh, wow. Okay. I would so in wow. In 2022, I don't know how, but in 2022 there were 5.9 million reported crashes. 5.9 million. Okay. So if we reduce that to, let's say, 1,000, we reduced number of car crashes because of automation from 5.9 million to only 1,000 crashes a year. 1,000 for all of the US. You know what will happen? People will be like, well, what about those 1,000 people that died? Well, what about the 5.9 million? Well, let's do fatalities. So, okay, it's significantly less car crashes, and so let's do fatalities. All right. So, in 2023, there were 40,901 people that died in motor vehicle crashes, according to the US Department of Transportation. Okay? So, if we reduce that 40,000 down to 400, people are going to complain about the 400 that AI killed. Even though it saved what? 39,500 people. I'm sorry. 40,501 people. Like it's insane. So unless it's perfect, people are going to blame AI for having problems, and it will not be perfect because it's trained on imperfect data, because that imperfect data came from humans and we are imperfect. And all of that is what is leading into hallucinations, because we expect computers to be flawless and perfect, but they're trained on data that is imperfect. So you can get really close, but then you need that human side to go, is this good? Is this accurate? And have that question. Eventually, it'll get to a point where the data will be better and we'll have more accurate data, and it will be trained on that more accurate data. But until that happens, it's garbage. Like you're gonna have problems. It's not gonna You're gonna need a person to intervene and go, hey, that diagnosis is not cancer. It's a mistake. It's just a glitch in the x-ray. Like, honestly, it's just a shadow. It's not cancer. And imagine if someone got misdiagnosed, let me correct that, with cancer by AI. And I clarify that because that's really important, because what happens is if they get misdiagnosed by a human, there's a consequence of some sort. And they're like, oh, but we were able to catch it and reverse the treatment and everything's fine now. And they will still sue that doctor for malpractice or for who knows, right? But if AI misdiagnosed you, are they going to sue a computer? Like, and those kind of questions are really kind of a concern. And if AI is doing all of this predictive analysis and you can't sue a computer, then all these attorneys are going to be like, well, what are we supposed to do now? Because a lot of their jobs are based off of lawsuits. And it's just insane if the misdiagnosis is removed the human component for error, and that human component is gone, and now you're actually dealing with errors inside of AI. Um, it's just, you can't expect perfection for a tool that's being trained on imperfection. Like, I don't know how else to say that. Anyway, I just wanted to show you Tempo Labs tonight. I had some free time tonight to play. Um, had a lot of fun playing with code again. Anyway, um, that's it. I will. What? Oh, all right. I thought somebody was in the chat. I was like, somebody actually here? Anyway, I hope this provided some insight for you. Uh, maybe, maybe cause more confusion for you. Anyway, if you have questions, feel free to write some in the comment. I'll be more than happy to respond. And really miss chatting. I think this has been a lot of fun. Probably going to go back to Twitch and play some Street Fighter. But needed to get this out. Wanted to show you what Tempo Labs can do. It's pretty cool. Especially the PRD in the design section. Kudos to them. They've done a really good job. Oh, and I don't have I need to get my deck of cards back. So one of the things I've been doing, hold on, I think I have it right over here. It is. So one of the things I've been doing, because now there's all these digital twins out and clones and deep fakes and whatever. So I have worked with people now when I do Zoom calls and I go, think of a card and tell me what it is. And AI has yet to be able to do it successfully. So I don't know what card you're thinking of, but let's say you thought of the Nine of Hearts, and I would actually show you the Nine of Hearts. Um, and if I didn't do that in that quick of a manner, or did it too quick, because maybe I just have a blank card and then the image is being generated real time, um, just to prove that it's me. I can show you my dog, but you don't even know if the dog's real anymore. And I think that's kind of concerning or exciting, depending on your perspective. I don't know. But I do like a way to prove that when you're seeing this right here, it's actually me. And it's not a clone of me. Um, Although I do have a clone, but I don't use it yet. But it's happening. And the delay of the communication's a little interesting. But one of the things about uh, some of the clones that I've seen out there is the mannerisms are really good, and like you can get the hand movement and all of that. But what's really cool um, is if you're not interacting with it, it can actually do like really long videos like this of with delays, and but the latency is zero because it doesn't have to process anything. It's generating everything itself. So it can just go and go and go. It will buffer itself, and by the time it gets to the video stream, it's going to be fine. It's when the interaction happens of like uh hey, how's it going? And then it would respond, it's going pretty well. What's going on with you? But the problem is, it would be like this: hey, how's it going? It's going pretty well. How's it going for you? And then I would respond, it's going really well. I'm doing this and I'm playing with some code. And I was playing with Tempo Labs. Tempo Labs. Oh, I get it. You see my point of like that delay, the latency. And then I think of the latency, and then I think, going back to the car situation, you don't want latency with cars because latency in cars will kill people. And that's kind of a concern. Safety first. Uh, Safety, security, compliance, all of that stuff is really important as we move forward. And then AI is just a tool, and you can't blame AI for giving you wrong answers if it was trained on bad data. It's like if you go to a school that teaches you something that's wrong, and then you believe that, then you're going to believe that until you're proven otherwise. And I think that's really important is AI is just being trained on a lot of synthetic data and not necessarily real data. So I think the race to the perfect model is going to be a big thing. And I also think that engineers, the market is actually going to come back when they realize all these POCs moving to production are having some significant problems. And people are like, oh, I just typed it up. I asked it to do this and it did it. Oh, did it do exactly what you want? Well, it got close. That's what I always hear from people. Um, but anyway, I am gonna wrap this up and switch over to Twitch. You can find me there. I'll be playing and chatting and doing that probably for about an hour, and then I'm gonna go to bed because I haven't played online in a long time, um, and I kind of miss it. So cool. I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.